All right, we're here with Christopher Speller, head coach Mike DeGeorge. 87-79 final here, Fort Lewis versus Colorado Mesa. Battle of two top 10 teams at the Blizzard in Brownson. Coach, to start with you, opening statement, your thoughts on the game.
Obviously a disappointing outcome, but I was proud of how hard the guys played, and I thought that, if we'd have really sustained our approach and formula, I think we would have won the game. But you got to give Fort Lewis credit. They forced a lot of turnovers, and they made big shots down the stretch that really won them the game.
For you, a lot of the talk pregame was about the defense they like to play, the press, making sure you guys take care of the ball and the flow of your offense. How'd you feel you guys did it that tonight throughout the game, and what were some of the differences down the stretch?
I feel like we did a pretty good job throughout the whole game. I mean, could have tightened up on some turnovers, but overall we did a good job and just handling that pressure. We'll probably see that again from other teams, other Texas teams, so we just got to keep dealing with that, and then we should be fine.
And then for you offensively, you finished with 13 points, second leading scorer tonight. Just talk about your game on the offensive end and the chances you feel like you were given as your guys' offense battled that defense.
It's just to make the right play. I mean, I'm always going to get an open shot. The other teams still don't believe I could shoot, so just knowing when I go in the game, I'm going to shoot the wide open three, and then off of the pick and roll, just make the right read. If the backside is open, give it to him. If the roll man's open, give it to him, and don't try to do too much, really.
All right, questions?
So, Coach, you had mentioned, you had mentioned in your opening statement just about had you sustained that formula and that approach. I was just hoping you could elaborate a little bit more on what that was and when you felt maybe things started slipping away.
Well, yeah, I mean, we didn't close out shooters down the stretch, and they hit like 4 threes in a row at a key stretch of the game. That was pretty disappointing and from a defensive perspective because, we pride ourselves on our defensive end, and they shot 53% for the game. And so, that was pretty disappointing in those key moments. We didn't do that. I thought offensively in that second half, we actually did a pretty good job. We had 9 turnovers, which is a lot, but it's less than the 13 we had in the first half. And, a few of those key possessions were key. Ultimately we got great looks at the three, and we made 5 out of 22, and they hit 8 of 11 threes in the second half, and ultimately that was the difference. But I thought we did a nice job offensive rebounding, and did a good job on the glass overall, but we just didn't make open shots enough, and then we didn't really defend the way we've been defending these last couple of months. And so, it was a breakdown in that approach. And in the first half we did an offensive rebound, and we turned it over way too much, so we were really in a negative in terms of the total possessions.
And Chris, for you, with that in mind, what was that experience like for you on the court to kind of go through those challenges, and what do you think that experience was for the team?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like our offense will always be there, and we'll always get our threes and transition, but it really comes down to the defensive end. We didn't do our job. I mean, the guys, like you said, they shot 53% from the three, and then they were just clutch in the final end, so we got to do a better job on getting stops, and then our offense will always come, so we'll always have that.
Yeah, question for Coach. Looking at the end of games, the pace just generally slows down, and not a lot of possessions and that went your way down the stretch. What would you like to see out of the half-court offense when the game's tight down the stretch like that?
It did slow down a little bit, and, we'd just gotten wide open shots the whole game when we didn't turn it over. And I thought, our looks were fine down the stretch. I just thought we got a little bit confused a couple times whether we were playing through the post with a mismatch or not, but we were using that to create that they were doubling it, and so it would create open shots for us. So, again, I didn't think the shot selection was bad down the stretch. We had a couple of bad turnovers, and then they just, they made shots down the stretch, and we didn't get stops. So.
And then for you, for just playing in the offense beginning of the second half, ball moving, hitting the offensive glass, but shots just weren't falling really. Just how do you keep that mentality up? And then what was your message when you came in to kind of flip that?
Coach told us, I think in the first half, we only had 2 offensive rebounds. So we're going to shoot the shots. We just got to crash on the offensive end and get those second chance points. And that should help us out when we're not hitting shots. And then just for me, just be aggressive. I mean, the game's on the line. Just try to make a play and be aggressive.
playing in a game like this, obviously the huge crowd and the high-ranked matchup, how is this going to help you guys later in the season when you guys will be playing nothing but these type of games?
Yeah, it'll definitely help us because we'll see this in the future in March. I mean, all the Texas teams play like this, full court press, so this definitely helps, and it gave us experience.
And then, Coach, last question for you. Kind of up and down game for Trevor, 5 for 5, took good shots, but then at the same time, 7 turnovers as well. Just how can you truly get him to hit his fullest potential in games like this?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Trevor played a good game. He had 5 turnovers at the half. I think that, there are just times where, he's trying to do the right thing, and he just maybe takes one too many dribbles, and he just had to adjust to the game. And, he's been doing a way better job of that, and I think he just kind of regressed back in a big moment, maybe just trying a little too hard in the wrong way. And I thought it was great that he responded and really had a big second half, and he did a really nice job defensively on their bigs. That was one of the keys, is kind of limiting their inside game, and I thought he did a nice job of that. Those guys didn't have a big game in there, and so he made a lot of positive contributions and contributed on the glass. And I thought he really adjusted to the game as the game went, but obviously 7 turnovers in a game is frustrating. So he knows that, and he's working on it to get it better.
Last question for you. Their offense is a lot of one-on-one and a lot of tough shot making. Just when you play 25 seconds of defense and they hit a tough shot like that, just how does that affect the game?
We just got to stay composed or know that they'll hit tough shots, but as long as it comes down to our defensive principles, we should be fine and live with the results.
All right, thanks a lot, you guys. Appreciate the time.